Welcome back to the deep dive. This time we're diving into something a little different. Uh, this is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. And, we've got these excerpts you sent over, letters between these two, like, warring agents, red and blue.
Yeah.
They're fighting a war across time for these, like, powerful factions. But their rivalry, it takes this really unexpected turn. So we start with Red. She's this ruthless agent. She works for this really technologically advanced organization. And she's just come off of a mission, leaving a battlefield totally in ruins. But instead of like finding, the expected carnage, she finds a letter.
Right. It's the first of many from her rival Blue, an agent of the garden, which is this faction that's all about like nature and organic time manipulation. It's like a challenge whispered across the ages, this little spark in the vast emptiness of war.
And delivered in some of the most unexpected ways. I mean, a dead seal, a teacup, a dinosaur bone. This Blue is committed to creative communication. But what's so intriguing is how these letters evolve.
Right. They start as these tactical boasts, almost playful, but then slowly become more personal. They start revealing their vulnerabilities, their philosophies, even their desires. It's like watching two master strategists playing a game with the highest stakes imaginable, and their hearts are becoming as much a part of the battlefield as their minds.
Yeah, and like Red, she claims to be a product of this super advanced collective.
Yeah.
All about efficiency and control. You'd think she'd be immune to loneliness. But then she describes this incredibly profound experience of isolation.
It is kind of paradoxical, isn't it? She deliberately isolates herself thinking she's above, these basic emotions. But by doing so, she discovers this deep-seated need for connection, a need that her technologically advanced faction can't really fulfill.
Right, it makes you think about the costs of progress. Like maybe all that efficiency, it comes at the expense of something essential. And then there's Blue, who's part of a hive mind, but actually craves individuality.
Yeah. It's almost as if they're two sides of the same coin, drawn to each other because they represent what the other lacks. Red striving for connection in this world of cold logic, and Blue seeking individuality within a collective consciousness. They find solace not in being the same, but in understanding the other's unique struggle against their own systems.
And as the letters get more intimate, the danger ramps up too. Red's superiors, they start to suspect that Blue is trying to turn her, using these letters as a weapon. It's like a Cold War spy thriller playing out across time.
Yeah, and it leads to this central question. Is their connection genuine? Or is this just masterful manipulation? It's fascinating how the lines get blurred, especially when Red risks everything to save Blue from this monstrous creature.
Talk about a grand romantic gesture. But you have to wonder, is it driven by genuine affection? Or is it a calculated move in this high-stakes game? And then comes the climax. Blue orchestrates this brilliant attack, and it leaves Red seemingly compromised.
Right, and Red's superiors order her to send a poisoned letter, essentially a coded execution order to lure Blue into a trap. It's a test of loyalty, forcing Red to choose between her duty and her burgeoning feelings for Blue.
But Red finds a way to warn Blue. She disguises this warning as like a final heartbreaking rejection, knowing the Blue will understand the hidden message.
And she does. Blue consumes the poison, fully aware that it's a message from Red. It's a testament to this profound understanding they've built on their shared experiences and the vulnerabilities they revealed in those letters. They created their own language, a secret code woven into the fabric of their relationship.
But it comes at a cost. Blue is weakened, possibly even dying, and Red is branded a traitor, hunted by her own people, all for this love that bloomed in the ashes of war.
And the story concludes with Red seeking a refuge in the heart of the garden. Blue's faction. Talk about jumping from the frying pan into the fire.
Right, like she's trading one impossible situation for another, all in the name of love. But will the garden, a place that is like so diametrically opposed to everything she represents, will it offer her sanctuary? We'll have to dive a little deeper to find out.
Really makes you think about the nature of sanctuary, doesn't it? I mean, can a place that embodies everything you've fought against, can it really become a haven? And can Red, a creature of technology and control, can she find peace in a realm that celebrates like nature's wildness?
Right. It's like she's stepping into this totally alien world, one that operates on principles that are completely foreign to her. But she's not just seeking safety, is she? She's looking for blue, which makes their whole relationship even more complex.
Absolutely. I mean,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
letters. They become a battleground of ideologies, too. You've
Yeah.
got Red championing this technologically driven future.
Mm.
She sees the world as like a machine striving for efficiency. And then you have Blue embodying the garden,
Mm.
who values growth and interconnectedness. It's this classic nature versus nurture debate, played out on a cosmic scale.
Yeah, it's like they're not just fighting a war across time, they're fighting for each other's hearts and minds.
Hmm.
And you see it reflected in the way they choose to communicate, too. Red embraces technology. She uses lasers and all these precise tools to, like, etch her messages.
Right, while Blue, who's deeply connected to nature, she weaves messages into flower petals, uses insects as carriers. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Like, can you imagine finding a coded message on a spider web?
Oh, totally. That's what I love about this book. It's
Mm.
full of these, like, brilliant details where you just think, wow, I never would have thought of that. And their writing styles, too. Red is so direct and clinical, while blue is more poetic, full of metaphors and imagery from, like, the natural world.
It's like their very language reveals their allegiances. But what's fascinating is that despite their completely opposing views, they find common ground in their loneliness. They both express this deep longing for individual connection, something that their factions just can't provide.
Yeah, it's like they're both searching for something beyond the grand narratives and the ideologies that define them. And they find it in each other, in this dangerous, clandestine exchange of letters.
That shared loneliness becomes a bridge, you know. It lets them see past their differences, to recognize a kindred spirit in the enemy. It makes you wonder if empathy and understanding can bridge even the most entrenched divisions, not just between individuals, but between entire ways of thinking.
But, this is a big but, this connection comes at a cost. Their superiors are constantly watching, waiting for them to slip up. And as we saw, that suspicion leads to betrayal and heartbreak.
It adds this layer of tragedy to their love story. They're not just fighting against each other's factions, they're fighting against the systems that seek to define and control them, their personal connection. It becomes a liability, a weakness to be exploited.
Which makes their sacrifices even more meaningful. Red sending that poisoned letter disguised as a rejection to protect Blue. And Blue trusting Red so implicitly that she consumes the poison, knowing it's a communication, a final act of love and sacrifice.
It's heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. It shows how far they're willing to go for each other, even if it means defying their own beliefs, betraying their own people. It makes you question the very nature of loyalty and love and what it really means to belong.
And then the ending. Red branded a traitor, seeking refuge in the heart of the garden, a place that should be anathema to her. It's such a powerful image, like she's shedding her old skin, embracing the unknown for the sake of love.
It suggests that love can change even the most deeply ingrained beliefs and allegiances. I wonder if she can find acceptance, and maybe even a future with Blue, in this seemingly hostile world.
But what about Blue? We know she consumed the poison, but what happened to her? Did she survive? Can their love really bridge this vast gulf that separates their worlds? The ending doesn't give us easy answers.
No, it doesn't. It leaves us with more questions than answers, forcing us to grapple with the complexities of their situation. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the authors are challenging us to imagine our own endings, to explore the possibilities, and contemplate the enduring power of connection, even when faced with impossible odds.
It's interesting how it ends on this, ambiguous note, right?
Yeah.
We're left with all these questions about their fate, about whether love can really conquer all in this reality where time is a weapon.
Right.
But there's another layer to this too, isn't there? We only have these fragments of their story, the letters.
Yeah.
We're missing pieces.
Yeah, and yet it feels like they've given us everything we need. Like they're inviting us to participate in the storytelling, to fill in those gaps with our own interpretations.
Right. It's like one of those ancient mosaics
Mm-hmm.
where some of the tiles are missing. But you can still see the overall picture. The beauty and the complexity of the design makes you work a little harder. Engage your imagination
Yeah.
to fill in the blanks.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that makes This Is How You Lose the Time War so captivating. It's not just about war and love, it's like this meditation on the nature of storytelling itself.
It's like they're saying, here's the framework.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the essential elements. Now you, the reader, you bring the rest.
Right, and by doing that, we become more than just passive consumers of the story. We're active participants, collaborators in a sense. We bring our own experiences, our understanding of the world to the text. And in doing so, we enrich it, we expand its meaning.
Like those coded messages red and blue send each other. We have to decipher the layers, the hidden meanings, just like they do. We become code breakers, searching for the truth beneath the surface.
But it's not just about decoding the messages, is it? It's about understanding the context, the motivations, the complex interplay of forces that shape their actions. It's about seeing the bigger picture, like Red and Blee had to in order to survive.
It makes you realize that even with incomplete information, with these fragmented narratives, we can still find meaning. We can make connections. Maybe that's the ultimate message of the book. Maybe it's not about finding all the answers,
Yeah.
but about embracing the unknown, the mystery, trusting in our ability to navigate, the complexities of life, love everything in between.
And maybe, just maybe, it's about finding those moments of connection, those sparks of understanding that can bridge the seemingly impossible divides between us.
This has been an incredible deep dive. It's made me want to go back and reread the book, to look for those hidden messages, those subtle connections I might have missed the first time. And that's the beauty of a good story, right? It stays with you. It keeps you thinking. It invites you to come back again and again, each time discovering something new.
It's a testament to the power of language, of storytelling, to transcend time and space, to connect us across cultures and ideologies, and in a world that often feels fragmented and divided. That's a powerful reminder of our shared humanity.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive. Go read This Is How You Lose the Time War. If you haven't already, you won't regret it.